We're not going to have a closed session meeting today. It's on the agenda, but there was no need to have a closed session meeting, so we postponed it for 2 weeks. So the agenda review, we have our approval, and John, do you have something to say?
Yes, one of the items on the agenda is item number old business 6, mayoral candidates discussion and selection. I would propose that we discuss and make a decision appointing the mayor tonight, but actually have him sworn in and begin work at the next meeting. So he has the 2 weeks to be prepared and figure out exactly what it is he's supposed to be doing during the conduct of a meeting.
I agree with it's on the agenda stating it's just for take action to appoint the truck, but not to swear in. So we'll swear that the new mayor in, Lisa, in 2 weeks at the beginning of the next meeting. Any other discussion on that?
I think the agenda report states,
Yeah, the recommendation in the agenda report does have the instructing the clerk to do the oath of office. Is that what you're requesting to have changed?
Yes, that's the one to put that off until the next meeting.
So the
Give
mayor
and
coming
give
will
them
have
2
it-
weeks to prepare.
It'll be his agenda, not the agenda here.
the recommendation says here, council is requested to, from Ms. Harris, council is requested to discuss the candidates, take action, and to appoint, and instruct town clerk to administer the oath of office.
And my discussion on the agenda item is to delay the clerk administering the oath of office and taking office for 2 weeks until the next meeting, so then that the new mayor has the opportunity to figure out what he's supposed to be doing, and he will be the one who's driving the agenda at that time.
And
that's-
Mrs. Harris also agreed on that, so.
I have trouble with that. I mean, it's been on the agenda, and these are what the taxpayers are expecting, and I don't know why we have to delay it until May. Moreover, I won't be here at the next council meeting,
Mr. Mayor.
Charlie?
and the council knows that. Well, the administration knows that.
I did not know that.
I did not know that.
I didn't
Charlie?
either. Here comes this, we're going to select someone, and I think it'd be unfair to have him come up here and take his seat today cold. Now, the 2 weeks will give him a chance to come in, meet with the staff, the department heads, and get some idea of what's going on. And I think that's the fairest thing to do.
If I recall,
Rich,
this is the last topic.
Rich, Jan's next, please, Rich.
If I may, I was the one that had this put on the agenda, and I did request that he would be sworn in tonight. I knew that Rich was not going to be here at the 16th meeting, and it is the very last thing on the agenda. So he would not be conducting this meeting tonight. He would be sworn in, but he would not have a meeting, and he would still have the 2 weeks to prepare, and he would have input into the agenda. He can't be sworn in and still have, he cannot not be sworn in and still have control of the agenda. The mayor has the power of the gavel, the power to set the agenda. So I have a problem because this is the last agenda item on here, and I do not see a problem with going ahead and swearing him in tonight, and he still has 2 weeks to study up and get ready for the next meeting.
In fact, this is under old business, it's the last item, and there are no new business topics.
Except for disposition of directives, which is
Right.
new business.
Hiram?
Yes,
On this
sir.
issue, there's a separation of the decisions here, so how do, this goes to a vote?
Y'all can vote to change the agenda as you see fit, but just to point out some clarification as well, Lisa just reminded me that once you appoint, they technically have their authority and power. The swearing in they could take place tomorrow morning in the office if it really needed to. It doesn't have to take place at a meeting. Once y'all appoint, they're officially the mayor of the town at that point. So if you want a ceremonial swearing in tonight or then, either way, it doesn't matter. They still have the ability to prepare the agenda for the next meeting is what I'm trying to say, so.
I want a swearing in before the next meeting.
Why can't it be done tonight, Hiram?
I didn't say it couldn't.
Oh, okay.
I
All
said
right.
it was,
So it could be done tonight?
it could.
Yeah, okay.
It just depends on how y'all want to proceed.
John, do you still want to vote to push it to the 19th meeting? Or the, what's the next meeting?
21st.
21st, rather.
I like the idea of giving them, of waiting the 2 weeks rather than doing that tonight. However,
Okay.
you know, if there's a majority, I'll go with the majority.
So, all in favor of changing the agenda to the 21st for swearing in the mayor? Jan? No? Charlie?
Okay, no.
Okay, no.
No? Rich? Rich? Do you want to swear in the mayor today or 2 weeks from now?
Today.
All right.
Is that a no vote?
That's a no vote.
Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay.
Actually, you need to say thank you to Lisa.
Stand for pledge of allegiance, please.
Well,
Oh, you're 10 minutes early.
yeah,
Oh,
you've still
we
got
still
council
have,
discussions.
Oh, that's right.
We still have
Sorry,
discussions.
sit down.
Yeah, you've got 10 more minutes until.
Yeah, I just have a couple of things. One is a neighbor read the Beacon editorial, and evidently I got a promotion. In honor of the recent Beacon editorial, I used to be called the gadfly by the Beacon. I got a promotion. I am now a Yankee rebel. Thank you to my neighbor.
Any other serious discussions?
Yeah, I want to know if any feedback on the ERC applications. There's still only two applicants.
There's still just 2 applicants on the table.
Any feedback on the grant yet? Any information?
I was going to cover that during the town administrator report.
Okay.
Any other discussion on the agenda? Charlie?
No.
Jan? John?
Nothing.
So we just wait?
You can do department
Department
reports.
You want to do that? You don't like?
I don't like changing the order of things, but I mean, if you want to, we can start. I'll do mine if you'd like.
Go ahead.
Take an 8-minute break.
All right,
8-minute break, or are you going to do the department reports?
it's up to you. I'm just OCD about the order of things.
Okay, let's take a short recess, please. Does Jan Harris like to say something?
Yes, I would. I just have a brief announcement. Telephone was ringing.
Is it yours?
I'm falling apart. Okay. I have a brief announcement to make. The Brunswick Environmental Action Team is having its general membership meeting tonight. The reason they're holding it tonight, as it kind of conflicts with our meeting, is that they could only get their speaker tonight. Their speaker is, their featured speaker is Derb Carter, who is the director of the North Carolina Southern Environmental Law Center. And tonight they're giving away 2 awards for environmental service. One is the 2019 Distinguished Service Award, and the other is the 2019 Friend of the Environment Award. We have a Sunset Beach resident that is receiving the Distinguished Service Award, and that is, he's being recognized for being chairman of the Sunset Beach ERC, co-founder of BEAT, and for his relentless advocacy of protecting our precious waterways. His name is Dr. Richard Hilderman.
Excellent.
Well done, John.
That's it.
Does any member of this council have a conflict of interest, the appearance of a conflict of interest with regards to any item on the agenda? And if so, please state it at this time.
No.
No.
Jan?
No.
Rich?
I do not.
I do not. At this time, we'll have to have public hearings regarding the chain link fence. Any comments?
You have to have a motion to,
Yeah, I need a motion to open the public hearing.
I move we open the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
At this time, does anybody have a opinion on the public hearing on the chain link fence? Sue? Sue, we gotta be up here? Oh, do you? Please state your name and address.
Sue Weddle, 706 North Shore Drive, Sunset Beach.
Could you pull the mic down a little bit, please?
Sue Weddle, 706 North Shore Drive, Sunset Beach, North Carolina. I live on the island, and there is one chain link fence that I know of on the island. I walk by it on one of the side streets to go to the ocean. It's hideous looking. I don't think it serves any useful purpose. I think you can keep a dog in the yard with a good picket fence, and I hope you do away with them. They're ugly. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. This time, is there any more comments on chain link fence?
I move we close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
At this time, John Corbett would like the Sunset Vision Presentation Fitness Trail.
Is Bill back yet? Okay, well, we'll start anyway.
John, you can go about the donation of the land and all that, right?
Yeah, all that'll be explained.
Okay.
All right. Sunset Vision is a 501c3 nonprofit organization here in Sunset Beach that does civic projects and raises money to donate things, items to the town. That is a benefit for not only the residents of Sunset Beach, but all the visitors who come here also all the time. The Vision, and I'm a member of that, as is Charlie Nern. We're well represented here today. If you would, Sunset Vision members, just raise your hand. All right. Thank you very much for all you do. what's happening today is we have Melissa Warren is going to give a presentation on our next project that we would like to do, and that's the fitness trail. It's going to cover the benefits of and the impact on the town, explain project details, explain the plan for raising funds, and answer council questions. No funding support will be requested from the town. However, the town of Sunset Beach is being asked to take ownership of the property, and as such, it includes responsibility for the liability and landscaping maintenance. And for us to start working on this project, town council approval is needed for this project. And so I would hope that at the end of the presentation, we would have a motion and approve that Sunset Vision build the fitness trail here in Sunset Beach. And the timing is perfect. Melissa Warren will do the presentation.
Where's the easel layer? It's here. John, we're going to get the easel for you.
These photos are in the package that town council members have, and at some point, Melissa will point them out.
Ruth, page 1.
You go ahead and go.
Go ahead.
All right. Bear with me. Allergy season is not kind to me.
Oh, no.
So my throat is scratchy and hoarse. So I'm Melissa Warren, and we would like to raise funds to incorporate a fitness trail, which is an outdoor recreation fitness system. Sorry. It would be under the tree line, beginning across the street from Angel's Trace all the way down to North Park Road. All good? So the benefits that we see is, A, it provides access to no-cost exercise opportunities. We live in a community with a lot of people on a fixed income who can't take advantage of gym memberships. It's also a way to improve their physical and mental fitness, get them outside, get all of us outside, and encourage social interaction. It's also an opportunity for us to preserve and beautify the outdoor space that is there, that the main corridor, so everybody who comes in through can see it. It's an opportunity to attract active tourists who look for locations where they can do something active. It's also, we would...
Melissa, when you made the presentation, you said from Angel Trace, you meant Sea Trails.
Angel's Trace, right across the street, yeah.
The road right there? Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
And we would employ a local contractor, a local fitness consultant, and the local print sign maker to create all of this for us. So it wouldn't cost anything to the town. What we are asking is that you would take ownership of the 75-foot easement that is currently owned by Carolina Dreams and maintain the liability and the maintenance for it. We have already been in contact with the property owner. They're on board. They think it's an opportunity to add value to their land. So the fitness trail would include 10 fitness systems and accompanying signage with instructions for each one. We envision the completed project, again, it would take it to be completed in 3 separate phases. And it would be constructed of natural timber, so it would fit in aesthetically with the surroundings, and then each station would have a mulched area to work out in. The signage would be small and unobstructed, and again, it would be so the first phase would begin across the street, and it would go to between Angel Trace and High Market Road. It would include 4 fitness stations, the signage for each one, a bike rack. We'd like to put a small sign in that gives distance from here to the park, a walking distance, to encourage people to continue to walk and use our park. Phase 2 would begin between Queen Anne and Park Road North. It would include 3 to 4 fit stations and possibly a bench. Phase 3 would be in the middle, and that is the property that is owned by the Village Park Homeowners Association. At this time, they are not interested in participating. So our hope is that after Phase 1 and Phase 2 are completed, that they see it and they've approved what we're doing, and then we could put a couple more stations there. However, the entire project is not dependent on their participation. If not, we can add an additional station to Phase 1 and Phase 2. So again, the funding of the Fit Trail, no cost to the town, we're not asking for any money there. Sunset Vision will pay for the first phase. We have a pretty reputable fundraising reputation. To date, I think we've given approximately $25,000 worth of gifts to the town of Sunset Beach. So we would have no problem raising the funds through dinners, our annual art show in June, and our membership drives, annual membership drives. Phases 2 and 3, we would like to solicit donations from local businesses that are health industry related. But again, if we don't, we would support it ourselves. And we'll also apply for some grants through local and state agencies. And so in your packet, you have sample illustrations of the first 4 systems. And I didn't put the signs in there, but, and then this packet, this is an actual fitness station in the Outer Banks in North Carolina in a private neighborhood or an HOA, just for reference. So I think that covers everything. So does anybody have any questions for me?
Jan, would you have any questions?
I do. I would like to know the cost to the town. Is this not essentially taking over Angels Trace Road? Is that not what this is?
No, the way they're describing the project and on that map, you're going down Sunset Boulevard, not up Angels Trace Road. It just starts at that walkway right across the street here, that the walkway ends at Angels Trace Road. So the property line's right there, so it'd be from that property line at Angels Trace Road and Sunset Boulevard towards the food line.
Towards Food Line?
Yes.
Between the sidewalk and the road.
So we will not be taking
Between the sidewalk.
over any roads?
No.
No.
Okay.
That walking
What-
path that's already out there, that's what would be taken over, so virtually a pedestrian path.
Okay. Do we have any idea of what the costs are to the town for this? Do we have any idea what cost this is going to cost the
As far-
taxpayers of this town?
As far as the upkeep and maintenance,
Yes.
not at this time, no.
And I have one more
But-
question.
Uh,
Is this not the type of project that would require a public hearing?
Say that again, Jen, I couldn't.
Is this not the
I think
type of
so.
project that would require a public hearing? I believe that it is.
I believe that the public hearing would take place when we agree to take over the land.
Is that not what we're supposed to do tonight?
We're given a consensus that we'd be willing to and allow them to start the project.
Yeah.
But Chaim, real quick, if this is a 501c doing this, why do we have to go to public hearing on this?
When it comes time for us to take the land from them. What was basically happening is we're getting a land donation. Is the end result of this project as far as the government's concerned, there'll be a land donation.
There's no purchase, it's a donation, correct?
Right, but we'd still have to take over the
So our cost would be the insurance and maintenance, Eric.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like Rasputin, but this was brought up a number of years ago. And I was not on the council, I was a citizen. This concept was either tabled or rejected. I don't know the conclusion of it. I'm just trying to recall. But at the time, they were concerned about liability, maintenance cost, taking ownership of property, landscaping, and potential lack of usage. Now, I looked at the benefits that this program would provide, but I always felt that that's not the responsibility of government, it's the responsibility of an individual. Now, I don't know about others, but I do go to the gym. I may not look like I do. But there are liability issues here, and there are costs here that we don't know. we're anticipating that whoever owns the land is just going to give it to us. I don't know if they will or not, and I don't know what the cost is.
They have already said
They've
that they
already
will
given it to
donate
us.
the land.
Please
I
let me
answered your question.
Please don't interrupt me. Moreover, we just finished the budget process. If we knew that this was going to be in play, this hasn't been budgeted. Now, I don't know how much it's going to cost, but the only thing I do know, that last year we spent a heck of a lot of money that was not budgeted. And I just don't want, I want to know up front what the liabilities are, what the cost is, and I would like to actually visit each site so that I can at least understand and get the feel of it. So I would, I'm not ready prepared to vote on this matter.
There's no vote.
Well,
He said resolution. Is it a resolution or a vote?
Well, no, you're,
we have to give them permission.
they're requesting that the town give them permission to move forward on the consensus that we're agreeing into this project. As far as the liability is concerned, it'll be minimally, it's at most a minimal addition to our existing liability. It's for us taking over a pedestrian trail with a few fitness stations, no different than our park. As far as the cost, they're proposing zero cost to the town for the land. Landscaping and maintenance of the facility would be probably on par with us doing the maintenance at the roundabout, the park, and those areas for landscaping. So we're talking negligible costs to the town to begin with, but we can't give you a definitive quote without having our landscaper give us a quote.
Well, that would be nice to get.
But Harmon, going forward, we're just telling them to go forward to look into this.
You're pretty much guaranteeing that if we agree to this tonight, that we're going to agree to it when it comes time. This is a good benefit for the community. It's a good draw. We are a tourist community. No one can just pop into the gym the day they come down or the week they come down to the beach. This is a very good activity for our aging population. These stations are in line with what you see at a lot of senior centers. Those, no offense to anybody, please. But with our type of population, mobility is a good factor. This would actually go a long way to helping us qualify for grants in the future for those kind of issues, improve the park, the connection that we have in our pedestrian plan to go from Queen Anne down to the park. This is a good asset to help us build for the future. But what you are being asked to is generally to say yes, when it comes time, we're okay with taking this project off your hands.
And when we do take the project off their hands, all that is doing is taking the liability and insurance, correct? Because the land will be donated to the town from this 501c.
As has been described to us, yes. The question I've got that we haven't touched on is, you know, we'd be responsible for the landscaping, we'd be responsible for the liability. Who's responsible for the replacement of the fitness equipment? Should it get damaged? Would that also be assumed by the town?
I think, that's something we can talk about. We would use, premium weather-treated
Right.
materials and.
I'm expecting a good life out of it.
In line with the other projects that Sunset Vision has done.
Yeah.
If they're damaged and there's problems and there's repairs, Sunset Vision has set a standard of taking care of those things on behalf of the town.
May I?
Yes, please, Jan.
I think this sounds like a very lovely idea, but right now, the town does not have the money in the budget. Everybody sitting up here on this dais knows what our budget situation is. And I personally, right here tonight, do not have enough cost information to make a decision, and I would really like for us to not make a vote on this tonight.
Any other
I
discussion?
need more information. I need to look into it more myself. I need to do more research, and I'm not prepared to do that tonight.
I share your concern, Jan.
Charlie?
It's a good project. It's going to be minimal cost to the town. Everything else that Sunset Vision has done has been.
Turn it-
Microphone.
I told her it wasn't working before, and she didn't believe me.
Still not working.
Every project that Sunset Vision has taken on has turned out very well. There's a lot of use at everything Sunset Vision has done. The pet watering station at the park, benches and swings at the park, bike racks, the binoculars at the bird watch.
Charlie, I don't think there's any denying that Sunset Vision has done a great job.
What I'm getting to, Mark, is that it would be just like anything else Sunset Vision has done. It would be an asset to the town.
I agree with you, and I think that, I do have some concerns that Jan has, just a minimum of concern. I think it's a great project, I think it should go forward, but Richard wants to, Mr. Serrato wants to review the locations. Can we push off to the next council meeting for a vote, so their concerns can be addressed, and we'll vote on in 2 weeks?
Well, Mr.
Mr. Mayor.
Serrato's not going to be here.
Right.
Well, he can walk. He says his concerns are
But
walking in the facility.
It needs to be the first meeting in June.
Yeah, we would like, I'd like to see all the cost. I'd like to know what our liabilities, what we're exposed to if someone gets hurt, any potential lawsuits, if the equipment fails. There's a whole bunch of business questions that we need to ask, and we need to know the answers before we dive into this. Now, there was a reason why the previous council had concerns, and they're the same concerns that we have today. It has nothing to do with their generosity and the contributions they have made to this town. This is a business question. That's all we're asking for is information.
I have a question.
Real
Mr.
quick,
Mayor.
Mr. Serrato, I've seen these locations, these stations in many towns throughout the state of North Carolina. It's not like this is going to be the unique one for North Carolina. It's in Outer Banks, it's in Raleigh, it's in Durham, it's either
Myrtle
in,
Beach.
it's Myrtle Beach, it's also in Bolivia at that park there. So if the towns in North Carolina can do it, I want to go forward with this project. But at the same time, I don't mind pushing it off one meeting, but not to the meeting in June. If you have a couple questions, you want to have some answers, get the answers up, give it to the Mrs. Warren and John, and let's go forward and put this on the agenda for the next agenda for a vote.
Before we do that, though, I mean, there's no cost of the land that's going to be donated. Our town clerk has told us that with the liability insurance that we have that covers the park, covers other public land and assets here, this would be incorporated in with a minuscule additional cost that goes through there. The budget impacts is that this, if it has any impact on our next year's budget, would be absolutely minimal. And we're talking about it's going to take a while to go through the legalities of handing over the land, getting permission to do this, of designing the stations. It'll probably take a year to put this thing together. There's not a reason to bring it up onto this year's budget at this point in time. It is a win-win for the town. It's something that can start now, and it'll take us some time to do it. It's not a big high-end business decision. It kind of, once again, is doing a characteristic of this council of kind of pushing things off whenever we get a chance to push things off. I think we ought to go for it right now.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Jan?
I still believe this project is of the scope that it would require a public hearing. And I believe, I certainly know I need a lot more information about the cost before we can give a definite yay or nay to this project. And Mr. Soretto will not be at the next meeting, which means we will have a mayor, a brand-new mayor, that possibly may have to break a tie. I don't think that's a good idea. I think April the 1st, the first meeting in June would be a better meeting to further discuss this.
I think it's very reasonable. This is not an emergency. This plan is not new. And why we're trying to rush something when we don't have all the information, I just can't understand. If we have an equipment failure, someone hurts themselves, the town could be sued.
That's why we have
And
insurance.
don't give me the insurance stuff. There's going to be a cost to this. Lawsuits cost money. And we have a lawyer that we pay to do that. I just want the information. Are we legally exposing ourselves? Hiram, can you talk to Mr. Richardson and see what the liabilities and the concerns may be from a legal standpoint of view?
Sure.
Is that reasonable?
I don't have a problem doing that. He's probably going to come back and tell us that it'll be similar to our park and other physical activities, but I'll send him an email in the morning.
Well, this is a physical activity that someone could hurt themselves if there's an equipment failure, which you raised as a concern, and it's a real concern. That's all. I'm just looking at this from a business point of view and a liability point of view and a cost point of view. I'd like to see some numbers.
Well, for the record, I didn't raise the concern of an equipment failure and injury. I raised the concern of just wear and tear over time and replacement.
Well, that's
But-
an issue too.
Well,
Well,
John
we can
said that the
if the
visual
council
would
wants me
place
to
that.
send it to the attorney, I'll be more than happy to send it to the attorney.
And just
I
as a
don't-
note, any signage would say, just like any equipment you will use at a gym, consult your doctor before any physical activity. We would have those disclaimers on the signage too.
It would also be use at your own risk.
Use at your own risk.
Just like our beaches, use at your own risk.
In our park.
And our walkways.
Yeah.
Disclaimers don't.
Yeah.
One more thing, Mark.
Disclaimers aren't worth 2
Charlie.
cents today.
Go ahead, Charlie.
I'd like to see a vote on this tonight, but, so Rich and Jan have time to gather their information. I'd put it off till the second May meeting.
Rich, you think you can get all your facts in before you leave?
What facts? I don't have
About-
any facts.
When your facts get to you,
He can't vote in advance.
he can walk the park. He said he want to walk the area, Jan.
No, but
You can
I'm-
walk the areas. And as we work
Oh, yeah,
on,
I can do that tomorrow. I can do that tomorrow. I'm just looking for the cost and the liability
Well,
concerns.
the cost has been said 3 or 4 times. Minimum cost.
I don't know what that means.
Minimum.
I don't know what that means.
Mr.
We'll
Mr.
contact our insurance and give them to give us an estimate. They won't know until we actually have a physical product, a definitive, but we'll get an estimate.
Jan?
Mr. Mayor, what can 2 more weeks possibly hurt when you're talking about this thing is going to take a year anyway, maybe to put together? As I mentioned before, and I will mention again, at our next meeting, we will be short 1 councilman. We're already short a mayor. And that would put the new mayor at his first meeting possibly having to break a tie. I don't think that's good planning on our part.
If he's going to be the mayor, he's going to be the mayor. Doesn't make any difference how long he's mayor. He'll know his duties.
Well, I think a fair compromise is put it off into the meeting on the 21st. If not, I'll have a vote tonight. So there's a compromise. If you're willing to work on the 21st, let's do it. If not, we'll have a vote tonight.
I would like a vote tonight.
Charlie?
Really, I would like a vote tonight, but I'm willing to wait till the 21st.
Jan?
I want to know if this requires a public hearing.
From now on to the 21st, we'll find that out for you, Jan.
And if it requires a public hearing,
we have to
we
do it.
can't vote.
We agree. We all agree on that. Rich?
I don't know what's being
The
said.
compromise is we push it off a week to the 21st.
I'm not going to be here.
I understand that. We'll push it off.
This
to
is
the-
no rush.
Or we'll vote tonight.
That's a compromise?
Yes.
That sounds to me like I got a gun in the back of my head.
Rich?
I'm not voting.
That makes it a
That
yes
makes it a
vote.
yes.
It makes it a yes vote, Rich.
What's the motion?
I don't know.
The motion is to approve that Sunset Vision
Go
have
forward.
permission to go forward with this fitness trail project.
John, I'd like to add the fact that can we find the cost of it and all this, so we can bring it to the attention to the council in 3 weeks when Rich is back, so we know the cost. Rich could walk the areas tomorrow, and we'll have some of the answers from our attorney, Hiram. Is that okay?
Yep, making a note right now.
Okay. So we'll work on the cost, work on it, maybe we're going backwards a little bit, Rich, but I believe that we should have a vote on this so we can go forward and start looking for the facts and the cost of this project. So all in favor, is there any more discussion?
Second.
Okay, we ready to have a vote? All in favor of pushing this forward, say aye.
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 Aye. Noes?
No.
Okay.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you,
Thank
Melissa, and all the members of Sunset Vision.
When will we know about the public hearing?
As soon as I get you the general statutes, I'll email them out as best I can.
Okay.
I'm at a
Thank
conference the
you.
rest of this week, so.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion for the minutes approval for the March 19th, April 1st, April 10th, April 11th, April 16th, April 23rd, and April 23rd special meeting?
I would like to file a motion to approve the minutes for the following meetings as listed on agenda for March 19th, April 10th, April 11th, April 16th, and April 23rd. However, I strongly object to the minutes on April 1st. And the minutes say that I was unruly
Let's
and...
take them one at a time then,
Why are you interrupting me?
because you want to go ahead and talk. We haven't approved the minutes for the 19th.
Rich, approve
let's
every-
take 'em
Rich,
one at a
Rich,
time in order.
Approve the minutes other than that month, and then we'll go back to discussion, okay? Approve all the minutes of other months, and then we'll come back to April 1st for you, okay?
Okay, fine.
All right, slowly. Repeat which ones you want to go ahead with now.
So March 19th, March 10th, March 11th, April 11th, April 16th, April 23rd, April 23rd. And we'll have discussion on April 1st. Do I have a motion to approve those months?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Rich, you have the floor on a discussion about April 1st. What page is that on, Rich?
The minutes indicate that I was unruly.
What page, please?
You have page, Lisa, what page that is?
The April 1st minutes, Mr. Nern.
I'm trying to find it, Rich.
What page?
All right, Charlie.
It starts on page 11.
Packet page 11.
Okay.
May I continue?
Yes, you may.
The minutes indicate that I was unruly and disruptive, which is contrary to the videotape. I wish everyone would review the videotape. The taxpayers that attended the meeting also notified me that I did nothing wrong. The minutes should not be used for political purpose or skewed to justify any action or to protect anyone, knowing that a snap response and decision by the person that holds the gavel only denies free speech and creates an atmosphere of intimidation. Now, these are opinions. I looked at the videotape. I don't share the same opinion as the public record. So I'm inviting all of you. I will not approve these minutes. I will protest them, and if necessary, I will send a formal letter to the town and to the Local Government Commission.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Jim?
I believe that was
I know.
next, Mark.
I'm sorry, Charlie, let her do it, no, go back.
I'm trying to find it here. I haven't found it yet.
Page 2.
12.
The,
Page 12.
Page two, it's page 2 of April.
The-
the second page of the April 1st minutes,
At the
Okay.
bottom of
the paragraph above D.
page 12.
Yeah, it's
page
packet page
12.
12.
Pack, page 12. Jan, go ahead, see what you're going to say.
All right, I would like to ask if it's possible to remove the 2 words, unruly and disruptive. They can tend to be subjective and inflammatory, and I would just like to see them removed from the minutes.
Charlie?
I found it, and my personal opinion is Mr. Serrato was unruly and disruptive. And you want to change the minutes so the truth is hidden? This is about transparency.
Jan, just let him finish. You done, Charlie?
Yes.
Go ahead, Jan.
I don't believe that Mr. Soretta was the only one that was a little bit disruptive.
Well, since I was the mayor pro tem and I asked Richard to leave the building, let me just voice my opinion. He was unruly, as he has been last year. Why, I don't know. So as pro tem mayor, I'm asking not to remove that. Anything to add to it.
View the video.
So do I have a motion?
I have viewed the video, and I sent my comment on the minutes to the town clerk today and said I agree with the minutes.
So what do we do here, Lisa? Do I ask for a motion to approve these minutes like as is? Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the minutes
Do I have a second?
of the April 1st meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All against?
No.
I didn't vote.
Okay,
That's an aye.
I know.
okay.
So it's...
I know.
All right, John, it's 4-1.
Okay.
I will send a letter to you, Lisa, and I wish, Lisa, are you listening to me?
Yes, Jim.
I will send a letter to you protesting that, and I will send a letter to the Local Government Commission.
At this time, please, public comments, come to the podium, state your name and address. Thank you. Any public comments? Sue Weddle.
Sue Weddle, 706 North Shore Drive. I've lived here for 30 years, and we've acquired a lot of public land off and on during that time, including the whole end of the oceanfront on Sunset Beach Island from 40th Street to Bird Island. Most of it, I think we paid money for. So I don't know that if that was the reason or not. But we always had a public hearing, and we always had an opportunity to go with the council to the property that was being taken over or acquired by the town. And I think the people of the town would like that opportunity. It seemed to me that even people on the council were surprised tonight and had not seen this property that you're talking about the town taking over. I think there needs to be some homework done here before we proceed with something like that, and I would like to see it too. Thank you.
I'd just like to make one comment on that. This agenda's been out for a while. People have an opportunity to go walk the property. So it's not like it's been thrown out on its own today. It's been in our mailboxes for days. Any more public comment?
I disagree with that statement, Mr. Mayor. It's for the record. People only had the minutes
All right,
for a
Rich.
few days.
All right,
You need to pick it up.
here we go.
Sorry.
Town administration, anyone more public comments? Town administration report, Hiram, please.
Yes, sir. With the Dredge Project, we'll start with that. The hurricane, no, I'm sorry, the dredge letters went out. They were MELD certified beginning of the month. People have received them. We've already started getting questions. This is part of the application process. We were notified from our engineer that DCM wanted confirmation of delivery prior to them actually officially starting their countdown of the review, which is not normal for them, but we're going with it. Our engineer's got the tracking number of every certified envelope that went out and is keeping a database. There's like, what is it, about 20 in total that is still aren't accounted for, failed to deliver, no one at home, that kind of thing. So until we get a final process that either it couldn't be done or all delivery attempts were approved, DCM will not start their countdown of the application. So
That's
there's
75 days?
That's their 75-day countdown. So this project's looking like even this fall is not even possible.
For clarification,
Yes, ma'am.
the public comment is 75 days?
The application review is 75 days. During that period, public comments will be accepted. Up until the point of
So people can start making public comments now?
I assume they can, since they've taken hold of the application, but they're not accepting it as a final application until we give them that database of all the tracking numbers showing delivered.
But the
mail.
75 days has already started.
No, that's what I'm saying. They will not start the 75 days until they get that database from our engineer saying all the certified mail has been delivered.
Will the town be notified when they get that?
The engineer will let us know when he sends it, yes.
Will you please let the council know the minute you have that?
I've let y'all know every time we get something, yes.
Thank you.
Lisa, how long does it take to usually get the information back on the mailing? 2 weeks?
They can spend up to a month trying to do redelivers.
Hiram, I'd like to ask you a question. Why are we going through these letters again?
It's not again.
Does that,
No, originally they did tell us that we'd probably have to send them out again because they wanted the green cards. But they got overruled by their attorney saying that as long as we've got proof of delivery, they don't need the green card return receipt.
okay.
So we don't have to resend them. Because you've never had to send it with a return receipt. You only have to send it certified with a
Right.
tracking number. And then they asked for the green card, so we challenged them on that. And even their own attorneys, I believe, overruled them.
Okay, good.
Also pertaining to the dredge, the grant, we've had no word about the grant other than that the state will be sending us a form to be filled out regarding a potential conflict of interest so that either A, they can make a final decision on it, or B, I guess is A, A and B, we prove it or disprove it, and they make their final decision on it. That form has not shown up. We were notified last week that it would potentially be in the mail, and it should have been here, in my opinion, on Friday.
Is it not possible that it's a positive sign that DCM is moving forward with the application?
Well, that's two different things. The grant
I understand
application-
it's two different things, but Moffett Nichols is also having to do work that would be covered by the grant during this time. Is that not correct?
It would be if we had the grant, yes.
Right. So that to me sounds like a positive thing.
Works for me.
Are we going to see a copy of the form or once the form is completed?
I guess we can send that out to the council. I mean, it's going to be a public record, but like I said, we haven't seen the form yet.
Okay.
It's
No,
just,
but when it happens, I may not be here, so.
but that's all we've got as far as that's concerned. Otherwise, no other words. But like I said, based on this timeline at this point, dredging is not going to be possible in 2019. If we have to, especially if they get a CRC to get a variance.
I tell you, that's such a shame.
A real shame.
Moving on, hurricane passes.
Excuse
I'm
me,
sorry.
I don't understand why.
You understand.
Why dredging can't start until November anyway. This is May.
By the time the 75 days is up, they've already said that they have the option to extend it, and they said that they most likely will based on the turnout of emails. And then getting on the CRC's variance request that takes place every 2 months, and then you have to bid out the project. We can't bid it till we have the application.
But it's not a sure thing that we won't be able to do it this year. It's just a swag.
No, it's pretty factual.
No, because the bidding process is going to take a couple weeks, and we can't do that till we have the application. We won't have the application at best until the end of the summer, And if we have to go to the CRC, that's not happening until September or October, whenever that meeting occurs in that period. Then we have to advertise. Then we also have that, well, we have to have the public hearings before we even advertise for bid. You also haven't had your public hearings to determine this project's moving forward, how you're going to assess. All that has to be done as well. We have to advertise those. You won't be able to do that till you have the application, the permit.
Okay.
So the timeline just, it's not possible to get it started in November.
Has anyone tried talking with DCM?
Yes.
Unfortunately, the wrong people are talking to them, not people for dredging.
Anyway, during my report, hurricane passes have been mailed out to the island residents. We've received word that several people have gotten them. A lot of people like the fact that it was mailed. So if you haven't gotten them, double check and make sure that the address listed on your taxes and the tax card with the county is up to date and current, because that's where they were mailed to.
Is there going to be some type of a procedure for the inevitable hurricane passes that didn't show up at the owners' homes?
Yeah, we
And-
haven't finalized that yet. We're waiting to see how many we get back. We've gotten a few back. If it's enough for us to hold on to, we'll hold on to them, so those homeowners that didn't get them can call us and ask them if we have them and they didn't get forwarded to them. If it turns out to be a lot of them, we'll probably try to find some way to track down and mail back out.
Thank you.
And that's all I've got.
So you have planning inspections department, please.
And real quick, since the report's from March in your packets, I did the report. That's in your packets. It's also in your weeklies. If you have any questions about 2 months ago, I'd be happy to answer them, but Todd can take you from now.
Right, yeah. I'll
How to
definitely
introduce
take-
yourself.
Todd Rademacher, I'm the new planning director here for Sunset Beach, happy to be here again. General activities, the planning board met and continued their discussions on the regulations for text amendments involving the chain link fence, like we're talking about tonight. Like we said, this is from March, as well as on synthetic landscaping materials like rubber mulch and things of that nature. Talked about the use of a new, some storefronts in the MUD district for a boutique that's going to be doing tastings and on-site consumption, as well as the planning board discussed preliminary ideas for looking at some of the uses in BB1 in relation to single-family residential, as well as other residential uses. And as you can also see from the stats that we provided here from our inspections department, as well as from the zoning side of things, that we are staying active, as is everybody else here in Brunswick County, as we see the growth continue in our region. So there's a lot of stuff getting ready to happen, a lot of good things on the horizon, and if you all have any questions, happy to answer them.
Jan, do you have any questions?
No.
Charlie? John?
Yeah, can you give us a sense of what these preliminary ideas are? What are we talking about in BB1 in relation to Central? BB1's the commercial strip down
Correct.
Sunset Boulevard.
I'll let Hiram handle that. He's got a little bit of a handle on the history of that.
Yeah,
topic.
Todd's only had one meeting with that. At the last planning board meeting, the planning board decided to do a brief report. It'll be coming to y'all in June. Basically, they're going to be requesting more direction on how to proceed. They've got a list of pros and cons that will be presented to y'all at the June meeting. There's no true definitive sense of where to go with it.
Yeah, they didn't really come to what I would call a 100% consensus among themselves, so they decided to go ahead and compile a list of four, like Hiram said, pros and cons, and ask for a little bit more direction at the upcoming
So,
meeting.
but pros and cons to do what?
Pros and cons for continued residential development in the single-family genre versus
Removing
removing
it
it
from the district.
from the district and moving it towards, I guess,
What-
commercial.
And making it commercial only?
Right.
Yes.
As was requested from the county.
Right. Any other questions, Todd? Thank you, Todd.
All right, thank you. Y'all have a good night.
It's time, Stormwater Department.
This is another new recruit, John Michaud.
Thank you.
what John's passing out is the elusive spreadsheet of projects up to date from the plan, along with potential projects moving forward.
Good evening. Again, I'm John Michaud, and you have in your packet there a March report. Again, I wasn't here for that, but the report's from me, so I was able to make it happen even though I wasn't here. Anyway, if you have any questions about that, I'm sure Dustin can help out with that. Any questions about those projects that were completed in March. But the spreadsheet I just handed out, and I've got some additional copies here if anybody wants to see it after in the audience. I've just summarized just out of the capital improvement plan what has been completed this fiscal year or what's in progress, and then some other items or other projects that are partially done. And then you can see below that is what's in the capital improvement plan for next fiscal year, according to their ranking system, and what some additional projects that are under review in terms of what might or might not be completed this coming year based on priorities and shifting priorities. Again, this spreadsheet doesn't capture all of the stormwater projects, only the ones that are in the CIP plan. So if you want to look at that, or if you have any questions anytime about that, please email me or whatever.
Yeah, these are just repairs, right? It's not part of the overall improving our stormwater.
No, it's improvements.
It's improvements.
That's correct.
These are the improvements
Okay,
in our
are
plan.
you directing the water, the stormwater, are you directing it differently than what it is presently directed, i.e., into our water bodies?
The objective would be to reduce, in some cases, reduce flooding, potential for flooding, remove water off of the streets or roads, and also, as you're speaking, eliminate or reduce the amount of runoff, the non-point source pollution that might be entering the waterway. So the engineered plan that I have, and I was going to speak to briefly to that, but they do a good job of looking at areas where we can install infrastructure or improve infrastructure, but still provide for infiltration into the soils and mimic the natural hydrology, as opposed to increasing the volume of discharge of stormwater runoff into the water bodies.
So we are keeping in mind the state rule that our waters are supposed to be restored to their intended use when we work on these types of projects.
That is correct.
And all of the waters, especially around the island, are AECs, shellfish waters, et cetera, et cetera.
That is correct.
So we are taking that into mind when we are doing our stormwater.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
One quick question. The 3 items that you have on the staff report,
Yes, sir.
are they part of or different from,
That's a
you know,
good,
they part of the stormwater plan, or are they sort of emergency type of
that's a good
repairs that had to be
question.
done?
That's a good question. I would have to defer to Dustin on that.
It was the dam on Dagwood Drive, the right-of-way on Kirkwood Place, and the riprap on Jabalinka Lane.
That was a repair on the Jasmine Lane with additional riprap had to be placed in that
Yeah.
one. Kirkwood, just that was to clean out the ditch for that one. And the other one was just a dam that was back here on Dogwood. We had to.
But yes, they were all
replace
emergency.
They're all emergency
emergency.
things.
Yeah.
You know, so while we move forward with our stormwater plan and long-term program, the 10-year plan, we're still going to have a steady stream
Yes.
of these
That's correct.
Yes.
immediate repairs that need to be done.
Right.
And required. Thank you.
Yeah.
In addition to, thank you, Dustin. In addition to,
Help me out if you can. How much money do we put aside for stormwater management?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. What?
How much money did we put out for, on the budget for stormwater?
In the coming year or this current year? Because this current year, we've done several budget amendments,
I
so
see that Maybe this isn't working. I see that fiscal year 20, and I see Azalea, Dogwood, and East Main Street. And then we have projects that are under review.
Yes.
I don't know if that's going to be this fiscal year, but did we set aside this amount of money for stormwater?
These aren't this fiscal year, but yes, for the 1920, we set aside
200,000.
200,000.
Yeah.
200,000 for the 1920 fiscal year is what you have in the budget for next year proposed.
Right.
These, certainly whatever's decided, these projects that are listed for fiscal year 20, would be based on, estimated cost is based on what the engineers estimated.
That's all from the plan that we got
Right, and
from McGill 2 years ago.
that's correct. So back to the original question, there will be some other projects that creep up based on failures that could.
Oh, well, there's going to be things that are going to pop up that are not on this list.
That's right.
That's anticipated.
Sure. And the current project that's underway is the project, actually DE 3 and 4, the one on Azalea, the drainage easement between Shoreline and Azalea. They're working that. I anticipate maybe by the end of the week, they should have the majority of that project done.
Thank you, very helpful.
Sure, yes, sir.
John, are we doing this work or are we subbing it out?
That particular project's being subbed out.
Subbed out.
The first half was done in-house, the
Right.
second half's being contracted.
Right.
Your third column here has HC. If it's got a C, it's contract. If it's H, it's in-house,
Okay.
planned. Subject to change.
So, any other questions?
That's
or-
fine, John.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Fire department? No, I'm sorry, Public Works with Dustin.
I'd just like to add that the sidewalk is near completion. Last week, they had to go back and cut a couple of sections of sidewalk out where we had somebody to walk in one section, and had one that somebody drove over a section that was still wet, so they had to go back and do that. But the contractor said they still are going to be done before May 17th with the whole project, with everything. The east end emergency access is almost completed. The only things left is for us to put the Hatters ramp in, and that's the wooden section the road is built. We have started on 1220, 1302 walkway, tearing it down and redoing it. We're about a quarter way done with it. Also, in front of the park, you see that the asphalt is being removed. We still have to go in there and do some minor grading work before we can start putting the asphalt back down. Also, May 13th of this month, we will be starting putting marl down and regrading the unpaved roads on the island also this month.
Is that a cost to the homeowners or no?
No, that's the cost of the town.
Okay. Were you able to have someone out in that walkway had the nail
Yes,
on it?
yes, it did.
Microphone.
Yes, it did.
I have a question.
Okay.
It went somewhere else.
On the northeast corner of the intersection of 6th Street and Canal Drive, where there's a hole that keeps getting dug out as vehicles go around, it looks like a bunch of rocks were put in there as a sort of temporary solution.
Yeah.
Well, the rocks are now spread out all over the place. Is there some other solution for that
That-
pothole that grows all the time?
Only thing is we have to add more asphalt there. That'd be the only thing. Because they just cut the corner, the trailer, the big trucks. That's
Yeah.
what's eating it out.
And there are a lot of big trucks going through there,
Yeah.
a lot of construction trailers.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the only other solution there is.
Is that something we can do? The
Not
town can?
not us for asphalt, no. I had to see about getting a contractor to do that.
Okay, thank you.
I remember. How many parking places will taking that medium out provide?
I think close to 15.
I'm sorry,
Close to
15?
15, yeah. I think it was about 15 what it total would be.
They'll be diagonal.
Be diagonal parking.
Dustin, in the entrance of the public parking in, by the pier, is that going to be, that sidewalk's going to be repaired right there? Are they going to take the old sidewalk out, put the new sidewalk in there?
By the,
The entrance to the public parking at the pier?
where they taped off now?
Our
Yeah.
public parking or the pier's parking?
Our public parking.
No, we left that
Yeah, yeah.
normal because the wear and tear and the people driving over it constantly.
Okay.
We decided not to rip up the existing sidewalk and replace it with the pervious, just to have to rip up the pervious later and replace it.
Okay.
No.
I just saw that wasn't taken up. I was wondering why. Now I know why.
It's
Yeah.
more stable since that sees a high volume of traffic.
Okay. Any other questions for Dustin?
No.
Have a good night, Dustin.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Dustin.
Paul?
The report with the monthly numbers on there, that's pretty routine. Nothing jumps out at me. Is that, if nobody has any questions, a couple of notes, just as FYIs, we have one summer apprentice that's going to start working before your next meeting. So at some point this summer, I'll get him in to meet you all, and you'll see him on the beach and in the firehouse. But a college student and North Carolina kid, so it'll be good for him and us. Beach Patrol is doing weekends and everything. We're continuing training with some onboarding of new folks. The life rings are on the beach strand. So far, knock on wood, we've had good luck, and they've all remained in place, and the public and our visitors have respected the mission of the life rings to be there in case of an emergency. So hopefully everybody can watch those for us as well. One other thing is there's going to be a couple of school buses next to the firehouse at the end of this month and first weekend in June. We're doing a big extrication class, so those will be in and out the last week of May into June, and some training for not only our folks, but other firefighters from around the county. And that's all I got for now.
Any questions from Paul?
No.
None.
Yeah?
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
The best for last.
That's right.
Eric?
The best for last here. Well, good evening. The packet that you have there in front of you, the staff report, pretty general. If you have any questions on that, I'd be happy to answer those for you at this time. If not, I just want to add that the Sandpiper Bay Community Watch, I think I reported on that when we initially started that program. And I talked again with Kelly Clifford, who was instrumental in spearheading that to get that started in Sandpiper. We are at the point where we're live with that program, and we're just waiting for signs to get installed. Make sure that everybody that is part of that program has the app on their phone and understands how to use the app. But for the most part, that program is live, so I'm very happy to report that Community Watch is working in Sandpiper Bay. Anybody that's listening to this or here in the audience that wants to participate, you're more than welcome to join that. Starting Memorial Day weekend, we had a program last year that was getting our officers out of the cars, getting involved with the communities. The folks that visit the beach, that live here, that work here, we called it Where's Your Sunset? And officers got out and talked to people and found out where they were from, how often they've been coming to Sunset Beach, what's their favorite thing about being here. We're going to start that program up again Memorial Day weekend. And we post the pictures on our Facebook page of all the people that come from all over the world to visit our beach. So watch for that again. We've seen an increase in scams. Recently, through the telephone, we get targeted quite a bit in Sunset Beach. And they're asking about property taxes, insurance, or not insurance rather, but income taxes. And if you ever get any of those calls, we encourage folks in the community to call us. Just hang up the phone. Call back the person that they say they claim to be, whether they say they're the police department or the IRS. Hang up and call them back. If it's that important, they'll call you, but I encourage you to call the police if you have any questions. Last thing, just kind of an informational for folks, as warmer weather is upon us, our pedestrian traffic increases, both foot traffic, bicycles, we see an increase in motorcycles. So make sure that we're watching our speeds, paying attention, so that we can keep everybody safe this summer.
Chief, I did notice last weekend we had a couple people, golf carts that were underage driving still. Are we still aware of that?
We are, yes, and that's something that I've addressed with the staff as we start to get into the season, and we see the increase in golf carts. I made a stop on one myself, 15-year-old boy, that his family rented the condo on Main Street, and mom says, "Here, take the golf cart," and they didn't know the rules, so I educated them on that. They turned right around and took the golf cart right back. So we're paying very close attention to that.
If we see that happening, we should call the police.
You should, absolutely.
Is that call 911 or?
911's the easiest way to call. If you call the business line and nobody's here to answer it, it's going to roll to the 911 center, and they're going to answer the phone the same way. 911, where's your emergency?
Okay,
So it's
but
quickest
we
just to
can
call
get in
that.
touch with you.
Yeah, I would appreciate that you call, because we want everybody to have a good time when they're here. The last thing we need is somebody to get injured because they're negligent on a golf cart.
And the golf carts can go rather fast.
They can, yeah. Some of them can get up into the 20s, so it's important to follow
Chief,
the rules. Sir?
Chief, I just have a quick question regarding 911 and their non-emergency phone number. A couple of people that I bumped into asked the same question, and I really didn't know the answer. When they call the non-emergency number, no one answered the phone, and it clicked over to the county,
That's correct.
and then the county gets a hold of the town?
The on-duty officer, correct, by radio.
Why aren't those phones answered? Do the police officers have phones in their cars?
So when someone is in the building, so business hours,
This was like around 8 o'clock.
AM or PM?
In the morning. I
In the
don't know if
morning?
that's a shift changeover or not.
It's not, but if I'm here, or one of the administrative folks or the detectives are here, we'll answer the phone if we're in the building. Oftentimes, I'm out at meetings, or I'm patrolling or
So if
responding to.
no one is in the building, if Alvis left the building and I call the non-emergency number,
Yes, sir.
no one's going to answer,
911 will answer.
And-
It'll roll to Brunswick County.
and then it goes to the county.
Right. It goes to the county, who dispatches for Sunset Beach Police.
Is there any way that those phones can be answered even if a police officer's in a cruiser?
When I first came here, if you called the business line, it rolled over to a cell phone that the officer carried in their car. I
Right.
changed that procedure for several reasons.
Okay.
One, if I have that cell phone in my pocket and I'm in the middle of a domestic disturbance, or I'm searching a building that got broken into and there's possibly an intruder inside, the last thing I want to do is pick up a ringing cell phone
I
when
got
I'm
it.
looking for someone that broke into
I
a
got it.
building or trying to quell a disturbance.
I got it.
So it's likely that
All right. That makes sense.
It's likely
Finish
that
up, so
that
everybody
call
else
is
will
either
know.
going to go to voicemail, and if that is an urgent call,
Yeah.
it's not going to be responded to, or it's going to be unsafe for me to answer it if I'm in the middle of a traffic stop on the side of the
So
road.
it goes to the county, and then the county calls the police officer, or,
The county knows where we're at all the time because we get out on the radio. So if I say I'm out on a traffic stop on Sunset Boulevard, they're not going to call me on the radio and say,
okay.
this person needs their car unlocked because they locked their keys in it. They're going to wait till I'm available, and then they're going to dispatch it. So that's the most efficient way to serve our residents, is to do it that way.
Chief, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kara?
So we will start with the financials for March. You have the report in front of you. Do you have any questions on that? I do know that the stormwater line has 3% remaining. There is going to be a budget amendment for that, but I'm kind of waiting to see where revenues and everything come in because it's not over yet. But May and June are usually cleanup time for the budgets. So that's where we'll be with that. But those, I'll be bringing those to you as needed. Is there any questions on the budget to actual report?
Yeah, Tara, do you need a motion to put this for a public hearing on the budget?
That's not,
The-
that's the next item.
I was just
Oh,
doing
doing the next
that.
item.
This was
Okay,
just the
I'm
monthly
sorry.
report.
I'm sorry.
But if there's no questions on that, then we can,
All right.
okay. So you have the budget message, and I did the draft budget ordinance for you. And the next step in our process is for you to make a motion for the public hearing for June 3rd at 7 p.m.
You want that motion now? I have
For
it.
the public hearing,
Yeah.
yeah.
I would like to file a motion to schedule a public hearing for the proposed fiscal year 20 budget for the June 3rd council meeting.
Do you have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That'll be on the website tomorrow
And I'll have a copy in the lobby as well.
for public review.
So there'll be copies in the lobby for everybody to pick up if they want to?
Not to,
Not
not
to
to
take.
pick up, to view.
Just a
to
view. That's why
It'll be, I'll have a binder, just like what I have, and it'll have what the budget is in it, as is in the packet.
Now, will that be on our website that people
Yeah.
have that knowledge? Okay.
Yep.
This whole packet with the agenda packet is out
In the
there
agenda.
out there for everybody.
Yeah,
to
the
get.
budget message, the draft ordinance, and then the pages behind it.
I would particularly encourage everybody, if they're interested, to go ahead and read the budget message. It's 5-6 pages long, and it is a very good explanation of the components of the budget, the amounts in the budget, and some of the decision processes in the budget that go through there. Very informative. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other questions?
Nope.
Thank you, Tara.
Duck while you can.
I'd like to now discuss Old Vision's draft budget ordinance and request for
just
public
did
hearing. We
that.
did that
We just
already?
did that.
Okay. Resolution support fire fee rate increase. Mark Benton. Any discussion on the 5% increase for fire fees?
Yes. Number one, I'm not supporting it. Number two, this represents a 75% increase the past 3 years, which is equivalent to a 5-cent tax increase.
Rich, can I just interrupt you for a second?
It has
Tara,
vi-
can you please come up here for a second?
It-
Your numbers are incorrect, so let's Tara answer your 75% increase. It's not correct.
I said a 5-cent
You
increase.
said 75% increase on fire fees, Rich. You did say that. Tara, can you please help Richard out?
Well, we,
No, I said a 75% increase over the past several years.
What's the actual number, Tara?
from fiscal year, so from July of 2016, which this will go through June of 2020, it's at 51%. So that's the overall increase from July of 2016.
The revenues that are being generated, according to the town, is $973,000. And when you exclude the rates for the rural areas, it comes out to around 7,000. That's not a perfect number, as we know. So,
I don't have any,
this town has always had practice revenue neutral. And we have increased the revenues by $973,000. Secondly, who was the committee that recommended the 5% increase? I don't even know who this committee is. Is it the fire chief? And thirdly,
Richard, do me a favor. If you ask
No.
a question, ask her one, let someone answer it, and then we'll go to your second question. Is that fair enough, Rich?
yeah, answer the question.
I got lost in the first question.
I don't know who the committee is.
The committee is the committee we've discussed multiple times already and we did this last year. The committee is made up of the mayor, or in this case, the mayor pro tem, the fire chief, a citizen appointed by this board, a citizen appointed by the county, our county representative, and the fire coordinator for the county.
How come that was never presented to the council?
It's labeled out of general statutes that's how it's set up.
And the council has voted Pete Larkin, last year, right, Pete? So Pete was on the committee, I'm on the committee.
The question remains, this is recommended by the town, not the county.
And I made that decision of 5%, Rich. That's the answer you want to hear. I made that decision for 5%.
You are Mindoro. Are you from Venezuela?
One more time, we're going to have a short recess.
Your third question?
So I'm
sir?
voting no.
Okay.
Okay. Any of this other discussion on the fire fees?
Do you have a motion?
I can't make the motion, so can you make the motion? Make a motion to accept, support the...
I move we approve the attached resolution.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All against?
No.
No.
Okay. Motion is approved. A resolution opposing privatization of this ABC board.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to file a motion to approve the opposition.
Mike, Rich, is that on?
Mr. Mayor, would like to file a motion to approve the opposition to privatize the sale of spirits or liquor.
Any discussion on this?
Need a second. A second.
Second.
Yeah,
Any discussion?
we had a discussion at the last
Yes.
meeting, and it was explained in very good detail as to why it is beneficial for us to keep our ABC board and ABC store system rather than privatize it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Ordinance amendment, section 7.09, fencing of Unified Development Ordinance, UDO.
For clarification for everyone in the audience that didn't read this, the planning board has recommended approval of an amendment that would regulate chain link fencing. The regulation reads as, it'll be in addition to subsection B of section 7.09 fences, under number 8. Chain link fencing is allowed in the rear yard but may not extend past the front footprint of the principal structure. Chain link fencing should be constructed of a material or coated in a material that is weather resistant and prevents rusting.
And that's for all of Sunset Beach residential areas.
That is, the UDO affects everything. This is in the general section, not in the specific zoning section, so supplemental regulations affects every zone in the town.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
I need a
That-
motion.
I need a motion, I'm sorry.
I move we approve the ordinance to amend Article 7 Supplemental Regulations, Section 7.09 fences B as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Board of Adjustment members' appointments?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
we had 4 extremely qualified applicants, and we should thank them all. I would like to nominate the 2 current Board of Adjustment members, Mr. August and Mr. Hirschoff, with term expiration dates of April 1st, 2022. I also wish at some future council meeting, and I have had this on the agenda for months, that we placed appointment term limits, and this hopefully will be on agenda very shortly, because I think we need an opportunity to have other people to participate in this, and it's very difficult not to appoint or reappoint a member or members that have done a good job. So for now, I would like to nominate Mr. August and Mr. Hirschoff, but we had 4 great applicants, and I think if you've interviewed them, I think you would support my opinion.
Is there a second?
No.
So we need a motion?
I would like,
Yeah?
well, that motion dies then,
That
doesn't it?
dies, yeah.
Okay.
Need additional motion?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm also glad that we had 4 applicants who desire to come serve the town. They were good. I kind of like the idea of going with 1 carryover member and 1 new member to keep the continuity and to build experience. I appreciate the many years of service that Leon August has provided to the town. I would respectfully ask Leon that he move over and let a new applicant come in. So my view is to go with Lawrence Hirschhoff and Greg Jensen. Both have served the town well in the past, and they understand well the authorities, the responsibilities, and limitations of the Board of Adjustment members. And I'm confident that they will again serve well the town of Sunset Beach. So I move that we appoint Lawrence Hirschhoff and Greg Jensen to the
I
Board of
second.
Adjustment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All against?
No, I'm confused. Sorry, I just don't hear that well. Does Mr. August, I don't understand. We're not reappointing Mr. August, is that correct? But we're not
The-
changing any of the rules, are we?
No.
What,
I mean, Mr. August is not going to be reappointed.
Correct.
correct.
And Mr. Jensen's going to be there until 2022.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Correct.
Along with Mr.
Hirschhoff.
Kershaw until 2022.
Correct, Richard.
Okay, you mentioned about
Service.
having something for a year. I couldn't figure that out. I don't know, maybe it's my...
Your vote is Rich? What is your vote? We have three yeses for those.
Fine,
two.
that's fine if
Okay,
that's
thank
what the council wants.
Okay, at this time, we'd like to do the mayoral township council. Jen Harris, please.
Yes, I had this put on the agenda because I believe we need to move ahead with getting a mayor in our mayor's seat. It'll make our meetings and our jobs here much better, much easier, and get on with the people's business. To elect, well, the statute, first of all, says we shall appoint a mayor. And shall, when it says shall, means you're going to do it. The statute also gives us 2 ways to appoint. The first way is by nomination from a council member, and then a vote. Or the second way is by means of a ballot. And that means each of us should write down on a piece of paper our name and our first and second choice and give it to Lisa to do. It's up to the council which way you want to do it. I'm just informing you that the statute does give you 2 ways to nominate, or excuse me, appoint a mayor or a councilman.
Well, I don't have a problem being transparent and just vote whoever we want. So, I mean, if you want to do a close ballot, that's fine too, but I'd rather be transparent, do it openly.
The past several years, we've done all open
Yeah.
voting.
I have no preference. I was just giving you the information.
Rich, you have a preference, how we vote a mayor in?
No, I was hoping someone would nominate him there.
That's what we're going to do right now.
Jan?
I would like to nominate Mr. David Marshland for our mayor to serve until this term is up, I believe, in November.
I would like to second that nomination, and I would like to explain my reasons. We need a mayor at this time that has previous government experience, is my opinion. Should be hopefully a quick learning curve. Mr. Marsland has been a council member. In Massachusetts, they call them selectmen. And he was a selectman for a town called Harwich, Massachusetts, which is on the Cape, that I have frequented hundreds of times. It is much larger than Sunset Beach, but it has the same issues as Sunset Beach. It's a resort community. The population floods in the summer, and it sort of mirrors Sunset Beach. Mr. Marsland was also a school committee chairman, so he has government experience. He has been a selectman, and I think his learning curve will not take that long, but more than maybe a few days. So I'd like to second the nomination for David Marsland, but I also would like to thank Mr. Van Worm. I'd like to thank them both for stepping forward. They are truly concerned citizens. Thank you.
All in favor?
Oh, do you have discussion? First, we have
Yeah,
discussion.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm also glad that we have two viable candidates stepping forward to serve the town. And the reality is we can only choose one of them. And I hope both decide to run for a position in the November election, regardless of what we do here tonight. I've interviewed them both and talked individually with both of them, and they're fine candidates. Serving as a mayor for the next 6 months will not be easy. We have many challenges, and as a council have demonstrated that we disagree on many important issues. The next mayor will have to manage us, and that'll be a challenge. With these challenges the new mayor is facing, one view is serving as the mayor for the next 6 months may be an advantage in the next election. Another view is that the burdens of the task of dealing with us as a council may be a disadvantage. We will see. I've grappled with both, and in my view, agree it is time to appoint a mayor and work to make his tenure a success, regardless of the November elections. My view, however, is I recommend Paul Van Wormer. I think he has a skill set, capability, and a longer knowledge of the town, and will be able to manage this council more effectively. Time will tell. It's hard to say.
Excuse me, there is a motion on the floor.
We're discussing.
I understand
I didn't nominate. I said I
Okay.
recommend
Okay,
Paul Van Wormer.
okay.
So,
Well,
any more discussion?
Yes,
Go ahead,
please.
Jan.
I agree that both candidates are excellent candidates, and I agree with every word you said about the pros and cons of whoever takes this seat. I agree with it. It's a double-edged sword. And I would also like to thank both candidates for stepping forward. They are actually quite brave men.
Any other discussion?
I want to also thank both applicants. This has been a really tough decision for me. Let's go ahead and vote.
I'd just like to say, I'd like to thank the town of Sunset Beach for being able to be the pro tem mayor. At this time, I'd like to and again, thanks both candidates for running for the office. The motion for David has been second. Anybody other votes?
Say all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
It has failed.
You have to have all opposed.
All against?
Nay.
Nay. John, would you like to?
I
Make a
move that
motion.
we nominate Paul Van Wormer and appoint him as our mayor.
Any discussion?
Second.
I'm confused. There was a vote for Mr. Marsland.
Yes.
It failed.
It
failed.
failed.
Any other discussion?
Did someone
Yes,
second?
I second.
Okay.
In order to be in harmony, I think that's a very good recommendation, and I will vote for Mr. Van Wormer.
So all in favor of Voting for Paul?
Aye.
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 Aye for symbolic purposes.
Paul? Lisa, at this time, will you swear him in?
You may be sorry.
Can you come up, please, and get sworn in?
Lisa, could you slow down just a minute? That-
I don't want to be in this picture.
I, Paul Van Warmer, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and maintain the Constitution and laws of the United States and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina, not inconsistent therewith, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office as mayor for the town of Sunset Beach, Brunswick County, North Carolina. So help me God.
Yes, you do. And I'm tired of it.
I need Johnson. Hopscotch down. I can't move the chair over there. Can you Johnson? You got to move this chair
For what?
so I can slide a chair over. We don't have an extra one up here.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. Thank you, Ted. I'll do my best.
You know what I'm talking about, Mark. You know good and well.
I'm big enough to lean on.
Yes, you do.
Do you have a microphone there that's working?
I do that, yours.
I have to turn it on.
There you go.
This is all new to me, but I want to say thank you to the town council for your vote of confidence. I will do my very best to uphold the laws of Sunset Beach. Thank you very much. I just want to thank my wife for staying with me through this. The only thing she said when I said I was going to do this was, good, the town needs a good mayor. And so I really want to thank her. She followed me from New York to Charlotte to Sunset Beach and never ever wavered and always came with me. So thank you, Marianne.
New business, disposition of directors.
We are at new business, the disposition of directives. The first item, the Old Bridge Preservation Society presentation is on the agenda for 6/3/19. Councilman Corbett.
Yeah, that's still good.
The second is the ERC members' appointment.
only have
That's
two.
We don't have-
that's still ongoing.
I'll need to put it on the next agenda for the council to give me direction to advertise again, or how you want to, whatever you want to do.
Right.
So it'll be on the May 21st.
And I believe tonight we added the public hearing for June 3rd as well for the budget. It's like the last page.
the nonprofit funding policy?
That's been put on hold. It's been with the council since last year,
We take that off?
if you'd like.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because essentially, just for clarifications for everybody's memory here is, what I presented, y'all still wanted to come back with changes that basically had it the way we do it now. So no
Right.
point in making a new policy to do the same thing we're doing. So yeah, it can come off.
So we drop it
Coming
now?
off.
That's
Yeah.
all.
Would it be easy if we just pick what we need to put on the 21st of May and
And the
And
June
June.
3rd too, yeah.
because I don't, I would like to put we need an ABC board liaison. We've had one in the past, we still
No.
don't have one.
There's no setup for an ABC board liaison in their charter or anything for the town.
Well, I'll let the mayor pick what he feels necessary, then he can put out a draft agenda and ask for our input. I think going through each item, I think, would be very time-consuming right now. Does that make sense?
Sure.
I would like to take up the conflict of interest recusal since it's been addressed multiple times by our attorney.
It's not for you to add or to delete.
I can
When
make
it
it all.
goes on when it goes on the agenda, I have to get a second. So this is not a time to delete any item on the agenda.
How about, why don't you, ask for a date for that, and then it'll die for lack of a second.
I'd like to put that on our May 21st meeting,
What's that?
the recusal.
That is my motion, I will not be here.
This is probably, it's not on the, sorry, is this working? Yeah. I would really like to hear a review from Moffett Nichols about where we stand right now.
I'm sorry, I meant to mention that during my town report. I apologize. He'll be here at the next meeting.
Okay, I think that will take up lots of time.
It might, there's not much to report.
Well, I have some questions.
That's fine. I'm just letting you know that.
Okay.
We've sent all the updates that we've gotten from them, and it's been sparse.
Mr. Mayor, Ms.
I still have questions.
Mr. Mayor, just for your information, Ms. Harris and I have 11 topics that have been on the agenda many, many, many weeks. And so I would encourage you to look at them. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a call, and I'll provide you all the backup information. Lisa has the agenda reports, by the way, also.
May I just make a suggestion? Propose dates that you want to talk about them, and we get them on there. Give us dates when you want to talk about them.
Start in June.
You say which one you want to talk about and which day you want to talk about it.
Wait a minute, let's just start on number 4, and we'll work our way down. It might take us an extra 10 minutes, but we'll get some dates in here.
Good idea.
Scheduled date for the next community meeting. That's a council decision.
October?
You're coming up into summer, and you normally don't hold community meetings during the summer months, but you can go ahead and schedule
I was
one.
gonna say, we have it
But
on the
Mayor, I
agenda
also
to
think
schedule.
I don't like to do it too close to the election.
Okay.
Probably after the election in November.
After so we'll put it
Filing is in
on.
July.
I would-
Filing is in July, so this is to me, this is, May is gone, this is too close. That's how I feel about it.
We, at the time we did the last community meeting, said that we should hold the next community meeting, if we're going to hold it in June, before people registered for the election, so we stay completely out of the election bit, and then we can hold the second one after that back in January again. But the idea was to have the community meeting, if we're going to have one, so it's not part of the election campaigning process.
I agree with,
John?
with Councilman
Corbett,
Corbett.
Do you want to put that on June 3rd?
I think that'd be a good idea.
Yeah,
Well-
we can, well,
No, can we put it on May 21st? 'Cause
Yeah.
we'd be setting the date, and we need time to advertise.
Okay.
yeah, but I would really like to have a
So
community
set the
meeting
da-
in June.
So set the date on May 21st.
Yeah, the
May
date-
21st.
No, the agenda item on May 21st.
Yeah, will be
So
to
it
set
gives
the
us time
date.
to advertise, to set the
Okay.
date.
And the community meeting, though, does not have to be part of a council meeting, is that
No.
correct?
No.
So it'll be separate from that. So we've got June to play with.
We'll
Right.
put it on the May 21st agenda.
Yep.
The mayor vacancy, we don't need.
That's all. Can we put the town logo on in May too?
May 21st, good?
That'd be great.
Has anyone created any guidelines? Because we haven't been instructed to do so.
Now you are.
Weren't we waiting for a legal opinion?
Our logo is
A legal
trademarked.
opinion.
I thought we were.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Can we direct it to go to the attorney?
It won't be on next agenda then.
Okay.
Why don't we do what we're doing right now, the next agenda? I mean, we're discussing it right now. Why don't we do what we're doing now on the agenda? The next May agenda. To discuss the town logo guidelines.
You can, but I'm saying, I don't think we'll have Grady's opinion by then.
Well,
She wants to make them at the next meeting.
yeah,
So we'll have a discussion.
right.
Discussion, May 21st.
Right. On the cemetery, we have to, attorney get back to us.
Yep, Grady's still working on that.
And the Oyster Bay Road closing, Hiram?
Grady's still working
That's
on
with
that.
Grady as
Okay,
well.
lawyer. Police chief, alligators.
Waiting on wildlife.
Wildlife's still working on that.
I like your name, they're better.
Number 10 is the medical insurance coverage for the council.
I'd like to make a motion to take that off.
Taken off.
Sounds good.
CAMA land use plan discussion.
That is mine, and I am not prepared yet. I have quite a bit of research to do on that.
Okay. Parking problem solutions.
Same with that, although I'll be happy to talk with you about it.
Okay. Beach Rules Committee objectives.
Pretty much set in stone already, yeah.
Yeah, it's already set in stone, but
We always discuss that in the season coming up, the next season.
I think maybe after the season would be better for that.
Okay.
Maybe October.
Okay, I'll put it in on
September.
October. Conflict of interest recusal.
Well, Mr. Serrato has stepped out, right?
So we can't
He's
touch-
left.
We can't touch any of his plans on the agenda?
By your policies, he can just put it right back on, so.
Just
I mean,
leave-
it
just
only
leave
takes
him.
one council member
Why
to
don't
put
we,
something.
why don't we set a date for it and put that baby to bed?
That's a good idea.
Can we do that? Lisa, put a date on it? He's got to be here. Make sure he's here, but he doesn't have to be here to make put a date on it, does he?
He has provided me with agenda reports for every one of these items.
So they're ready to be put on the agenda whenever a date gets added.
Well, put it to when he gets back in 3 weeks. What date is that?
So June,
June 3rd.
the June meeting?
June 3rd,
Okay.
That's fine.
That's which one?
recusal.
15?
Yeah.
No, 14.
Can we
That's
also do-
14.
Can we also do June on the removal of Jeans Creek?
June 3rd.
Yes, please.
You know, we haven't gotten anything yet back from the decision makers on whether we're going to do any dredging or not. And the reason we haven't gone forward with this resolution is because we have to see is what kind of determination they give us and what kind of variances we need. So it's premature to cancel Jinks Creek until we know what else is going on.
It says officially we're removing Jinks Creek from, do we put the cart before the horse, Hiram?
Yes, don't touch that one in my opinion, especially if we might have to seek a variance.
Okay.
So we don't want that on the 3rd.
No.
Same with the legal review for dredging and erosion, number 16.
I have a question. Legal review, does that mean this is going to the attorney?
No, sir, it doesn't. These two have not been sent because the council has not directed for these to be sent to the attorney.
So just put them in a holding pattern.
So 16 and 17 is holding.
15, 16, and 17.
Right.
How about 18, let's do in July?
The first or the second meeting.
We
Second.
only have one meeting.
Board appointment term
It
limits.
has to be the
Yeah.
first.
July what, Lisa?
July
Second.
1st.
July 1st.
July 1st.
Lisa, what is the island issue special meetings? I don't understand.
I'm not sure. I haven't reviewed these agenda reports.
That's just a little too vague to be even put on. We'll just let that one go.
Well, he wanted
He
to-
can put it on and when he gets here, but it doesn't say anything. All it says is island issues, special meeting.
And we have lots of issues.
I don't understand it.
We've also had lots of special meetings, so
Yeah.
it's just,
So we'll just leave that alone.
We'll leave that alone and let him figure that out.
How about the May 21st, we do the ABC? Hiram, you made a point, the last person who was a liaison was me.
Lisa,
I've done the research on that. I can provide the history.
Okay.
did we have a liaison?
In a nutshell, the council in, I want to say 13, voted to do away with the ABC liaison because that person has this council has no power over the ABC board at all.
Can we have a discussion on the 21st on that then?
Mhm.
Can you put that on for the 21st?
21st.
Please. And the other one I haven't.
And the other one is boat ownership questionnaire. I don't know what that has to do with anything.
What, this
But
question.
Councilman Cerritos put that on, so I'm not going to put it down for the 21st. I think that we'll just let him, when he gets here, figure out what he wants to talk about, because it really serves no purpose. It doesn't matter how many people have boats on the island. You can come here every, weekend, and there's boats all over. The parking lot is full, so I don't know what that means.
Welcome to the club.
So we'll put that on hold.
Can I move with you?
Public comments?
Oh.
Okay. Okay, next up is public comments. State your name and your address, and keep it somewhere around 3 minutes. Dave?
You keep it.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to congratulate you very much, and thank you for stepping forward to run, because neither of us would have had an opportunity to present ourselves to the council for consideration. Thank you, council, for considering me. I think you've made a good choice, and who knows, maybe someday I'll be sitting up here next to you.
Yes, sir.
We do have
Thank
an
you,
election
Dave.
coming up.
Yes.
Karen Joseph, 915 Sandpiper Bay Drive. Congratulations, Paul. Sure there are many people in town who would be more than happy to help you in any way possible to make your time in that seat productive and enjoyable. I wish you well. There's a lot of things that you talked about tonight as a council that gave me a real migraine. I'm not going to try to address them all, but I am going to talk about the use of the town logo. You are now going to turn this into an absurd situation. First of all, you're asking your attorney to give you a legal opinion. It's your logo. If an organization reaches out and says, we would like to use the town's logo on a bumper sticker, you, as the council, get the information and decide, yes, that's a great idea, no, it's not a good idea. But please stop turning all this stuff into situations that are ridiculous and costing us a lot of money. But speaking of money, going back to Sunset Vision's request, this town has something like $5 million in what I call the savings account. That project is so wonderful. Yes, you have a few questions. That's reasonable. But please don't say we don't have the money. What if somebody sues us? That's why you have insurance. So I just leave you with those two thoughts and hope that you will make it simple and make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Comments?
I move we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Adjourn.
Did good.
Thank you, sir.